Aaron Luber. I head up partnerships, content strategy for Google Cardboard. Google Cardboard is a fun, simple, affordable way of using your smartphone as a virtual reality viewer. And so, yeah, everyone's got one on their seat. Usually that's the cue where everyone picks it up and starts looking at it, but I urge you not to do that right now. We'll wait until afterwards. Before I start out, I guess I start by saying that we live in a world of acronyms, right? We've got, on the entertainment side, ABC, NBC. I'm sure we all very familiar and work very closely with companies like that. Even probably people from that company are here. We're probably all very familiar with MCNs, right? And in about a month, we're all going to start getting ready for that wonderful conference that we all go to at the beginning of the year, CES. And another acronym that's at the tip of everyone's tongues right now is VR, virtual reality. And I think it's something that is probably something you've heard about, something that you've been talking about. How many people have tried VR? Know what VR is? Okay. How many people have done cardboard, tried cardboard? Obviously you will after. Okay. Has anybody tried Oculus, HTC Vive, Sony, PlayStation VR? Okay. Anybody hearing about VR for the very first time? It's okay. First presentation about VR? Okay. The importance in kind of talking about this and calling this out is that whether or not you're someone who is brand new to VR or somebody who is a seasoned veteran, like myself, I've been doing this less than 2 years, it doesn't matter because right now we are at the very beginning of a brand new technology. I want to give you kind of a background on what Google is doing in VR, as well as talk about the larger ecosystem, and then kind of wrap up and talk about the kind of the future of where we see things going. So again, what is Google Cardboard? Well, it's cardboard. It's physically cardboard. So the history, right? Where did Google Cardboard come from? It was a 20% project. If you know anything about 20% projects at Google, if you heard about what a 20% project is, it's a side project that people do in their spare time to create something that's out of their wheelhouse, something that they would otherwise not really be working on. And we had three very creative guys in our Paris office at the Creative Lab want to see what it was like to go down the street with the street view imagery in Paris, right? First person view. They built a very simple software app and they started building literally right here. This is screen grabs of the first construction, X-Acto knives, tape, plastic lenses that they started putting together. And they built this. This is the very first prototype of cardboard. They brought this to Mountain View, and they presented it to the SVP of Knowledge, Alan Eustace, who used to work at Google. He just left Google. And Alan Eustace took it, and like most people, was pretty shocked, amazed with it, and ran to Larry Page and said, Larry, you got to see this thing. And Larry saw it, and his next response was, make 6,000 of these right now. I want these at Google I/O. And that was Google I/O 2014, and that was about 6 weeks prior to Google I/O 2014. And so then a little bit larger group of very talented people came together very quickly and started making 6,000 cardboard, and they pulled it off. And at Google I/O 2014, Sundar Pichai was on stage, and I'll ad-lib a little bit, but he got up and said, and by the way, this is under your seat, the last 15 seconds of the speech. And we have this for you. Enjoy. And that was it. And everybody was like, what the hell is that? And everyone started getting it, and we started handing it out to everybody. And what transpired next was a really magical moment. And I don't want to sound all googly about it, but it really, one of the amazing things about cardboard is that it really is one of those products that delivers on such low expectations that it delivers a magical moment. It's where literally people start picking something up. They look at it, they go, cardboard, what is this thing? My smartphone. At first, it's even hard to kind of put it together. The new viewer, which you have, is easier to put together. We'll get there in a sec. But you put it together and you're like, what is this thing? What the, and then you start looking at it. You're like, wait a second. And then you're like, wait a second, this is mind-blowing. And when you've been able to do that, and you've been able to do it over the past 12 months, and we deliver it to people like Bill Nye, and we're blowing his mind, we've really got a magical product in our hands. It's really something that people are so unexpected in their first use of it that when they do it, they're delighted, and that in itself is a magical moment. It's a magical product, something that you deliver on really, really nicely. And so we've been able to, what did we do after we realized that we had this product on our hands? Well, we did the googly thing and we open sourced it. We gave it out to the masses, to the ecosystem, and we saw a tremendous amount of people take cardboard, take the design, and start building their own versions. And so we've had people build cardboard versions, plastic versions, wood versions, metal versions. There's probably 50 to 100 third parties out there that are actually manufacturing cardboard today in some way, selling it online. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it in various places. We developed a third-party certification program called Works with Google Cardboard because we care very, very much about quality. One of the most important things about VR in general, especially, of course, cardboard, is delivering on a really good experience the first time you see it. If you don't have good lenses, if you don't have a working device, if you don't have things that are working, you'll try it one time, you won't like it, and you're done. You won't come back. And so the Works with Google Cardboard program allows us to work. We've got about 15 partners that we work with today. If you go to google.com/cardboard, you can see all these companies that are selling cardboard today. You can get cardboard there. One of the most amazing things, though, that transpired after we started getting cardboard out to the masses was what you guys did, what brands and agencies and marketers and very, very creative, talented people started realizing in cardboard. And again, in the vein of this being, in the spirit of this being a 20% project experiment, there's a lot of things that surprised us along the way, and this was probably one of the biggest. Me personally, I was on the YouTube team working on platform deals, and I also started with YouTube 360, and one of the things that brought me into cardboard was this amazing, I couldn't believe it when I started seeing all the brands start taking cardboard and putting their brand and putting their logo on it and using it as a marketing tool. That really was one of the most surprising things to us that we never saw coming. And we did the first one with Volvo in the US. We did with Volvo at the LA Auto Show. That's in the bottom left corner. And we started small. We delivered about a little over 10,000 to all the people that came to the LA Auto Show. And they were able to get cardboard by going up to the Volvo booth. They were prompted to download an app. They got to go and drive and see what it was like to drive inside a Volvo. And from there, we've just kind of grown and grown and grown. And starting with Volvo, we moved to 50,000 with Legendary Pictures at Comic-Con, 100,000 units with AT&T for their It Can Wait campaign. And I don't know if you've seen and read, but recently New York Times announced that this coming Sunday, if you are a subscriber to the New York Times, you'll be getting a cardboard in the mail. We're delivering over 1 million cardboard to users, to the digital subscribers and the print subscribers. And that's just an incredible feat in itself. We've learned a tremendous amount as we've gone in terms of how to scale these products. This is a picture right here of our head of marketing, Trevor Claiborne, at Sundance last year. This is 20,000 cardboard. So if you can imagine what 1 million cardboard looks like, that's probably, I don't even know, it might fill this entire room. These are logistical feats unto itself. And so the fact that we've done this in 12 months, that you guys have done this in 12 months, that we've been working with companies that have taken the risk to start a brand new type of marketing tool has been really, really a surprising, amazing thing. What do you need to make a good cardboard campaign? Right? I get asked this question a lot. You need 3 things. 1, you need cardboard. Pretty simple. We manufacture our own cardboard. I also talked about the third-party guys. They manufacture cardboard. We manufacture our own cardboard. We manufacture in China. We manufacture in Mexico. We manufacture here in California. If we do volumes over 100,000, we can bring the price down to about $4 per unit. So we make cardboard. Next, you need distribution. Distribution could be anything. Distribution could be handing out cardboard at a stadium. You could be handing out to everybody in this room, right? Here you go. Here's a cardboard. It could be delivering cardboard to everyone in the mail, like we're doing with New York Times. You need distribution. And so a lot of times people come to us and we talk to brands. Say, all right, well, I can get the cardboard and I've got some way to give it to people. What do I do next? Most important, number 3 that you need is content. Content is the most critical piece of any cardboard campaign, in general in VR today. It is this very important step that we are taking right now. So we're seeing a very amazing trajectory in technology right now in VR. There's so many amazing things that have happened over the past 12 months, and not just for what Google's been doing, but all the Oculuses, the Samsungs, the HTCs, Sony. I mean, people are just pushing the limits of technology, let alone, of course, all the software sides, all the investment in the ecosystem, all the startup companies that have started in the space. Technology is moving in a very, no problem. It's the train is moving down that track. Content is a very big question mark right now. This is where we've got a big bottleneck in terms of just the ability to create content, let alone just making content. It's a very difficult thing to do, as well as just ideation. And so I urge you, as people that are interested in VR, to really be considering this very core piece in the content side. And, I think for the most part, we're all creative types and tasked with delivering on doing the next level things and creative things. And so I just want to point out that content is one of the most critical pieces of the type of thinking that we need to be having in VR today. This is the new version 2 Google Cardboard that we announced at Google I/O 2015. And again, you don't know what Google I/O is. That's our annual developer conference where we bring to market new products and new services every single year. This is the new viewer. Everyone's got the new viewer. There's some misconceptions generally that I get, and so I want to just answer some of those real quickly. One of the first things I'm always asked is iOS. Does Google Cardboard support iOS? Absolutely it does, yes. Just because it's Google Cardboard, just because it's Android, and we talk about these things, does not mean that it does not support iOS. One of the things that we changed in the new design is the input as well as bigger screens. So the old form factor did not fit 6-inch screens. It now does, as well as the input. The old input was a magnet, and the magnet, unfortunately, didn't work very well with iPhones. The magnometer was on the other side of the phone, and so when you tried to register an input, it didn't work. So we had to change the entire input, and so now you'll see there's a little kind of lever, and it acts as a little plunger that touches the screen of the device. And so any smartphone now works in Cardboard. We touched upon Cardboard. So content on Cardboard. I touched upon content. The way that you get content on Cardboard or through Cardboard today is 2 ways. You get content through apps and through video. Apps being Google Play and the Apple App Store, and video being YouTube. And so we absolutely support iOS and Android. And we have an SDK that is public, that everyone's been using. We've got about 1,500 Cardboard SDK-enabled apps that are available on the Play Store today. There's a number of apps also available on iOS today. If you've got an iOS phone, go to the App Store, type in Cardboard. If there's anything for you guys to do today, if you haven't downloaded Cardboard, this is the first time you've got Cardboard, just download Cardboard. Just go to the App Store, type in Cardboard, download that one app, and that will take you kind of on your journey to more apps and more content. Touched upon video, YouTube. YouTube is a phenomenal platform. I'm biased, of course, I come from YouTube, I love YouTube, but YouTube has YouTube 360 video. If everyone has seen that, it's a new form of video, immersive video that you can move around with. You can use your finger and scale around, or your phone to move around. Any 360 video on YouTube has Cardboard mode if you've got an Android phone. So yes, we support Cardboard for YouTube. However, the big question I always get asked is, what about Apple? And I promise it's coming soon. I promise. And it's not because it's a business decision or anything like that. This is just in our technical, in our resourcing. It's just something that we're working on. We absolutely know that it is something that we need to support. We want to support it for part of the brand campaigns, part of all the work that we're doing. It's very important that we support both platforms concurrently. Now that I've given you the history on Cardboard, and by the way, sorry, I went online to try to figure out like what my next slide of like someone holding Cardboard and being like, what is Cardboard, or what is VR? And that's what I found, so I think it's kind of fitting. And I put a little VR. Yeah. Anyway, you get the picture. So I've given you the background on Cardboard, I've given you the history on Cardboard. I'm going to tell you where we are today and what we've been doing. I want to talk about the future and what we see and kind of the roadmap and everything coming this year, next year. The reason we're doing VR, why is Google doing VR? Well, it's because we see in VR the future of computing. And this is not something that I think we are alone in doing. If you look at a lot of the comments that Mark Zuckerberg has made publicly about Facebook and the acquisition of Oculus, if you look at the work that Samsung, HTC, Sony, and a number of other companies working around the world are doing, you'll see that the reason we're doing this is not an entertainment thing. It's not a gaming thing. It has those use cases, of course. They're very important. This is a computing thing. This is technology. It's the evolution of technology. It's where we go from the first Apple computer to the first smartphones to the first heads-up displays, where people can experience and immerse themselves and see things and touch things and do them with other people, telepresence, for the first time. And that in itself is groundbreaking because it is truly the evolution of new technology. And if you look back to where, we kind of look at past history, this says it all. This is where we started with mobile phones. And where are we today in this trend, if we're going to make the correlation? We're here. We're right here. We're at the brick phone stage. We're not even into like smartphone, feature phone. When I started my career, I was at News Corp Content and Marketing, being led by the late, great Lucy Hood. And this was we were doing text message, American Idol text message voting. We were doing ringtones and wallpapers. We were doing the first mobile video. And we put mobile video on cell phones. And I remember talking to people, friends, family, whoever, and I'm young, enthusiastic, I'm telling people, and people are looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? Video on a smartphone, on a cell phone, not even a smartphone, on a cell phone? Why would I want to look at that? Why would I want to do that, right? And so now you look at where we are today and kind of how important mobile is in all of our day-to-days and how critical that is to our businesses. We are looking at the same trajectory when we look at technology. And we can look back at the trend of mobile at a very, very similar state for VR. And so you look at where we are with the first devices that are coming to market. And so again, when I ask people to raise their hands, obviously it seems like not a lot of people have tried Oculus, HTC, Sony, PlayStation VR. I urge you to do that. I really, really urge you to do that. If Cardboard or Gear VR is maybe the only thing you've seen thus far, I urge you to do whatever you need to do. Befriend somebody who's got one of these devices, seek it out, whatever you need to do. Try out these next level platforms, right? 2015 has been a very important year for getting VR to the masses, right? And we have done a lot in helping that trend. But I think 2016 is going to be an amazing year for when we're going to see the commercial explosion of a lot of new devices come onto market. It's still going to be early days. It's still going to be a roadmap, a trajectory that's going to take us some time, similar to mobile. But we're going to see amazing trends, amazing new things with content, as I'm talking about, start to come to light. We're going to see more definition around VR. And so the question of if this is going to be kind of a killer for media and things, I absolutely don't think so. But it's not going to happen right away. It's going to be something that's going to take us a little bit of time. And with that, I want to talk to you because I get asked a lot about what is like most important right now or what's going on and what do I think is really important or really blah, 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 blah. And so does everyone remember Mattel's Viewmaster, right? Remember that old thing we used to put up, the reel, right? So Richard Dixon, Chief Brand Officer for Mattel, was at Google Zeitgeist, about 4 months after Google I/O 2014, and he saw Cardboard for the first time, and light bulb went off in his head. And he sees Cardboard, he says, Viewmaster, right? And Viewmaster was done. It was dead. It was a brand. It was a product that had been sunsetted. And they resurrected that brand. We started a partnership with Mattel, and on the market today is the Mattel Viewmaster. It's a product that's out there. It's being sold. It's online. It's being sold in Best Buy, Walmart, Costco, Toys R Us. It's everywhere. And I'm not up here telling you this because I'm pitching to you Mattel Viewmaster. That's not what I'm doing. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I want you to understand that two very important things. One, this is probably the most, in terms of volume, the device that's going to be in the most amount of hands from now until into next year. There's hundreds of thousands of these are going to be sold. They are toy items that are being targeted towards 7 to 12-year-olds, and that's the number 2 point. 7 to 12-year-olds are taking this product for the first time. They're experiencing VR. They're using it as a learning tool. They're using it as a toy. They're enjoying it. And when we think about, again, the trajectory going back and looking at mobile and looking at the timeline, the same people that were using Mattel Viewmaster, us and back in the day, are the same people that we are targeting today. These are the same people that are the millennials and Gen Xers that we target in our day-to-day business. And I want you to be very aware that the 7 to 12-year-olds that are experiencing VR and working and playing with Mattel Viewmaster, 10 years from now will be 17 to 22-year-olds. And that will be your target audience that are growing up with virtual reality. I look back to the young kids that open a magazine and start swiping the magazine. The same exact experience. When I give cardboard to someone my age, to our age, they hold it up for the first time and they sit there. And I go, look around. And they go, right? I'm like, no, look around. And I literally have to grab them. I'm sorry, I'm going to touch you. I have to move them around. And they, oh my God, this is amazing, right? I give cardboard to a 7-year-old and immediately, boom, they're just in it. They get it, they know. And that's the difference. You need to understand that this is something that is going to be ingrained in the way that the next generation is coming up. This is technology that is here and is only going to get better. When I think about the next steps for technology, the first iPhone didn't even have GPS, right? The first iPhone was built without GPS. We had to build in new technology to understand use cases, and that's the same thing that's going to need to happen with virtual reality. So whether you're someone who's new, whether you're someone who's a seasoned veteran, like myself, again, less than 2 years in, we're all brand new to this thing. We are all brand new. We are all experiencing VR and getting into this for the very, very first time. And I urge you to stay the course and to continue to explore. And if Google Cardboard has been that stepping stone, that gateway drug that takes people to the next thing, that's great. Our mission is to deliver VR to the masses, to get into the hands of as many people as possible. And if we've done that over the course of the next 10 years, then we hope that we've put ourselves in a good position for success. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.